Hello, Kaitlyn Walker. It's good to be here with you today. Everybody, I'm Andrew Walker. Thanks for watching. This is my firstborn daughter, Kaitlyn, and she is with us today. It's going to be really great. So, we're just here, Kaitlyn, to talk about some cool things that are going on with you. I had a chance to speak at your school recently, and it was really great. We had a chance to pray over the kids there. But before, I guess we got to talk about what the context is. So you started a Bible club this year, right? This is your first year of high school. You're in ninth grade. And so tell us about how the Bible club came about, how you thought, how that came to be something that you wanted to do in high school.
Yes. Well, I remember how I first wanted to do it. So I was in seventh grade at the time, and I remember one day just praying to God and stuff, and I also remember going to when the new movie Jesus Revolution came out.
Oh, yeah.
And ever since I went to that movie, it really inspired me so much, and it really touched me. So I went home that very day, and this was at night. And I went in my closet and I just started praying to God. I was like, Lord, I really want to be a part of whatever you have for me. And I just want to be a part of it. And I was just crying and I was so happy and I was very touched. And then a few days after, God kind of spoke to me. He was like, Kaitlyn, like, I really want you to start doing a Bible club, like a Bible club in school, and I want it to be like a Bible study. And
Mhm.
I was like, okay. I was like, okay, Lord. At first it was kind of nerve-wracking. I was like, Lord, no, I can't do this. Like, you're crazy. Like, I can't believe you would choose me to do that. But I'm like, whatever you want for me, Lord. And then I also remember going to my very first Bible study one time too, and it was
Where was there a Bible study where was that?
that was at this co-op group called Eagles at the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So this was when I was homeschooled, and I went to my very first Bible study, and it was for teen girls, and I really loved it so much, and that also encouraged me to want to do a Bible study for kids.
Oh, that's awesome. So you heard from God. You're like and it's interesting that Jesus Revolution movie was an awesome movie. I mean,
Yeah.
I loved it
Hmm.
too. So you heard from God, and God's like, "All right, you're going to do a Bible club." So now you go to school. It's your first time ever being in a public school because you've been homeschooled until then, and you get into school, and then what happens? Like, what was that first day of school like? Your first time in high school?
Yeah. Well, my first very day, it was very nerve-wracking. It was like kind of crazy knowing that like I was going to be going from just a school to where like 5, 10 kids, 15, 20 kids were in to 2,000 plus kids. So it was a lot. It was kind of overwhelming, and I was very nervous at first. But I feel like when I immediately got there, it was just so cool. It was like immediately God was like, this is where I want you to be. Like, just this
Wow.
knowing of I was called to be there. It was truly incredible. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And
yeah.
so you go to school, there's all these thousands of kids there, and then in the first week of school, you made a friend, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that. How did that happen? What was that experience like?
Yes. So I met this girl named Skyly, and she was in my history class, and it was the very first week, and it was like just a couple days after the first day of school. And so I went to I was in class, right? And then we did like this activity with all the kids, and it was like, signing like a bingo thing, and like you had to ask people if they did like a skateboard thing, like if they've
Mm.
gone snowboarding or whatever. And one of them was actually piano, and she plays piano at the school. And I went up to her and I was like, hey, do you have this one? And then she was like, yeah. And so she marked it and stuff. And then I also remember my teacher, he took us out. He's like, okay, guys, we're going on a field trip. And so we went out of the classroom, and then he took us to the library to get the kids Chromebooks
Mm.
because some of them didn't have their Chromebooks yet. And so me and her already got our Chromebooks and everything. So we were waiting outside the library with some of the other kids already had them. And then she was like, I just saw her, by herself, and she was on the side of the wall. And, I thought to myself, I'm like, this girl seems pretty cool. And so I went up to her and I introduced myself and everything. I was like, hi, my name's Kaitlyn. And she's like, hi, I'm Skyly. And we just started connecting right there and we started talking and it was truly incredible. And ever since then, we've been really close. So,
You guys have been good friends. And
yes.
so you meet Skyly, and then how do you get, and then you tell Skyly about your desire to start a Bible club. Tell me about that conversation and what happened.
Yes. So this was actually the very first day when she was on the wall. And as we were talking, I eventually brought it up. I was like, "Hey, do you do any clubs or anything, or have you wanted to do any clubs?" And she's like, "Not really." And I'm like, "Okay." And then she's like, "But have you done any clubs, or are you interested in any clubs?" And
Mhm.
I'm like, um, actually, I really would like to make a Bible club. And it was so cool because right there she was like, I would actually love to learn more about the Bible. And so, yeah, that's
And
how that
that's
happened.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So your first day of school, or your first week of school, I mean, you're
Hmm.
you're in high school, you're with thousands of kids, and God brings you a girl
Hmm.
to right to you in a class that you meet. You guys decide. You say you don't want to do a Bible club, but then she says, "I want to be part of this Bible club too." So how did that develop?
Um, so we, um, I told her, that I think it would be great if she could help me make it happen. And, I think this was no, this was in like the very end of August, and I go to this office because I'm like trying to get ideas on how to like make clubs and everything. And this is when like, new freshmen and stuff come in and they're trying to teach all the freshmen like how the school works and like who you can go to for certain things. And so in one of my classes, one of my teachers was like, "Yeah, go to this room and you will find this lady and she will help you create a club." And so I was like, "Okay, we should go there." And so I tell Skyly about it. I'm like, "Yes, we should go to this room right here." And she's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so we go to the room, we get this paper that they give us and we just sign out a form and we made the club. And after that, we also had to get a teacher to sponsor us. So we were going around asking different teachers that I had in my classes if they could do it. A couple said they couldn't do it, but then we got to one, and it was actually my old science teacher at the time, because at the time I had a schedule change, and I asked her. Skyly was like, it was so funny. I didn't want to ask because I was like, you know what? Like, I feel like she's just gonna say no. And Skyly's like, why not? We just go ask her. And I'm like, okay, why not? Just go ask her, right? And so we go ask her and everything, and she said yes. So she sponsored our club, and yeah, it's pretty incredible.
That's really crazy. That's incredible. And she's a really cool lady. I've met her, and she was your science teacher, and hopefully you'll get her again in another time.
Yes.
But so she's sponsoring the club, which means now you have the club
Hmm.
after school. It starts 1 hour after school's over and lasts for 1 hour. And so you go to her school, her classroom on Wednesdays, and you guys meet. And so the Bible club meets. And then what you guys started the club in October of last year, 2024,
Yes, October 2nd.
October 2nd. What happened on that first day? Tell us what it was like.
Yes, so
Oh,
the
wait a second. But you also put flyers out. You guys
oh yeah.
put
Hmm.
talked to people about it. The school interviewed you about it. Some of the reporters that run around,
Hmm.
those girls talked to you about it, and then you're having your first meeting. So what happens?
Yes, so before our first meeting, it was really cool. I've had people, these two girls one time came up to me when I was in my PE class, and these two girls I never even knew, right? They just came up to me, and then they went to my teacher, and they were like, we are at, do you know a Kaitlyn Walker that's here? We need to talk to her." And then my teacher's like, "Yeah, sure, here she is." And then my teacher calls me, and then she's like, hey, these girls want you. And then I'm like, okay. I'm like very weirded out, like, okay, this is weird. I'm like thinking to myself, man, I hope like I'm not in trouble or anything. But these two girls, they told me they wanted to interview me, and that was really cool. They just wanted to interview me about the club and stuff. And so that was really cool. And then I also gave out flyers to people that were interested, that were in my classes, and a lot of them said that they were interested. So it was really cool. And then the first day, we had our club meeting. Um, we had 13 kids come on the first meeting. It was
Wow,
really
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. And so at the time, before the club, I told Lord, I was like, God, please tell the boys, please just let the boys come because I can't talk to them. I'm just like, I don't want to. And so I'm like, just bring the boys. And so we had 7 boys, and I think we had like 5, 6 girls that came. So it was really incredible. More boys than girls. So
So it's pretty cool.
yeah. And then that very day too, we also brought all of them to the Lord that day. It was
Yeah, amen.
incredible.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good job. And then, because I know you guys did a prayer and everything and teaching, and then so the Bible Club has been going, and then as you guys have been growing, and you've got a secretary now, and you've got a vice president, and you've got a treasurer, and you're putting the people in place. How do you feel? How do you feel? What do you think about high school? What do you think about public high school?
I think it is actually pretty awesome. I would
Okay.
have to say, yeah. Like the school is definitely harder than what you're used to with homeschool. In high school, you're learning 8 different subjects, and in homeschool, I'm used to learning just like 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very big change. It was kind of a lot at first, but once you get the understanding of what to do and you ask a lot of questions and have other people help you, it's not that bad. But it's really great for the social aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably my favorite part about it, and I'm sure lots of kids can agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's my favorite part. Just going to lunch and hanging out with your friends and talking and laughing. Those are definitely some of the best parts about it.
Yeah, and do you think God has you there for a reason? Can you see how you are a light in that place? And there's not a lot of kids like you there, but there are others.
Hmm.
Obviously, they're part of your club. But how is it that how do you become a light there? How do you stay burning, stay bright in that place where there's a lot of things that are against who God is in your life?
Yes. So one of the things that really helped me is just kind of avoiding those kids, that can draw you out of the light. Just kind of like, obviously, like, still love them, but like, keep your distance. Make sure you protect yourself and make sure that you're always focused on God. A big part, actually, though, of what helped me through that is listening to music, rotating my classes, worship music. That has really helped me a lot. It keeps my mind focused on the main point on why I'm there. And it makes me super excited going to school every day.
So you listen to worship music between classes, and that keeps you kind
Yes.
of focused. It does really help. I know I do that same thing. I listen to music all the time for just to keep yourself focused on the Lord and what He wants you to do. But that is interesting. You just said that the main point for you to be there is for what God wants you to do.
Yeah.
But you're also getting an education, so you have to do well in that.
Yeah,
And as
true.
your dad, and I know your report card, I already know that you've done well in school, that you're doing great. So how do you, since the main point is Christ, what do you see what are some of the strategies that you've been using? Like, how do I get more people to know about Jesus? So how have you been doing that? Um, how have you been continuing to tell people about God? And now you have a whole team of kids that are doing the same thing. What are you and the team doing, strategy wise, to get the gospel more known there in school?
Yes. So I tell the kids every week, of course, when they come to the meeting, tell like at least one person about Jesus the week. Um, but I also do it's mainly just social media
Mm-hmm.
because we just post a lot of Instagram reels and we do announcements and we make flyers and but basically how I noticed over time by doing by social media is it really helps because lots of kids are, that's like the one thing they love to be
Mm-hmm.
on and they're always on that, it's so addicting, right? And so it's really like I noticed we get a lot of views and a lot of people like it and stuff. And, just from doing that, I've had my friends and the Bible Club members come up to me and saying, hey, my friend wants to come to this week. And so we've actually gained more people just from doing that. And it keeps them updated and like wanting to come and being like, oh, yeah, that's right, the Bible Club. I need to go to that this week. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So you guys are using social media. You also talk to people in your classes,
Yes.
and the name of the club is Transformed. That's
Yes.
the name. It's
Mm-hmm.
called Transformed Bible Club at the school. But you've also been doing some events too. One of them was you had me and your mom come there
Mm-hmm.
and speak to the kids, which we did, and we prayed over them and we taught them, just about hearing God and a little bit about the church too. And then we prayed and prophesied over them. And you also had one of the staff show up.
Mm-hmm.
One of the staff members of the school showed up, and we prayed and prophesied over her too. And she was really encouraged by that. How did it tell us after that or during that? What did you see there? Okay, this is the first guest speaker you've had.
Mm-hmm.
We're there. God's moving in the room like crazy. What did you feel happened? And then what did the kids say about it after we had left?
So they thought it was really cool. They said that the best part was you praying over them. So that was really cool. And then yeah, it was incredible. They really liked it and enjoyed it.
Yeah, and even the staff member that was there, she got prophesied over too.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went and talked to her and gave her a church card the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you
Yes.
find her? Like, where was she in the school?
Yeah, so I didn't know where she was, and so I went to the teacher who sponsors our club, and her name's Miss Conti. And I went to Miss Conti's room and I asked her, I was like, hey, do you know what that lady's name was that came the other day? Or do you know where she is? Because I would really like to give her something. And she said, yeah, she is in the health department.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our health, like the nurse's office. And so she told me to go there, and I went there and I asked the health office people, I was like, hey, do you know her name was Samantha, I think? Yeah. And I told her I was looking for her. And then she said, oh, yeah, are you looking for me? She was right there immediately. So
Oh,
that was
nice.
really cool.
That's awesome.
And then she's like, yeah. And so we go outside and I give her a church card and everything. And yeah, so she has a church card and I think she wanted to buy the book too that we
Oh,
gave
yeah.
out to the kids too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The book we gave out was The 10 Ways God Speaks by Lenny Walker.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, was it? Yeah, 10 Ways God Speaks by Lenny Walker. So that was really awesome. We gave all the kids those books for free. So now, Kaitlyn, tell us about some of the other events that you're going to do.
Yeah, so we have a Dave and Buster's event tomorrow. So all the kids, we're gonna go to the club first and do our regular meetings, and then after that, we are gonna go to Dave and Buster's and we're gonna play some games and maybe eat afterwards. And then we also have a couple that I'm trying to get together. Um, we are trying to see if we can get the theater to open up for us,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to do a worship day in there and like play some worship songs, and yeah, that's what we're trying to do right now.
Okay, cool. So you guys are going to do some worship there. That's really awesome. And you want to have a worship team, maybe the Dunamis worship team come.
Yes,
Tell
yeah.
us about that. What do you want to do there? What do you hope that happens in the worship day after school there?
I hope kids will that God will just really be in it, and I pray like that kids don't want to leave it. Don't want to leave it at all.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that they wanted
and
to.
that they just want to stay there for like so long, I want to see something like that happen.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. That's awesome. And then tell us about the what do you guys want to see moving forward in the club? What are you hoping will happen? What do you want to see God do there over the next, I don't know, you got a few months left in school. What do you
Yeah.
want to see God do there?
I want to see God totally change these kids' lives just
Mm.
for the 1 year we've had the Bible Club for. I hope kids will get really touched by it, and I hope they'll want to bring more friends next year with them.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And so high school, you're building more relationships. What are you seeing there? You're in the school. You're with the kids. This is your first year. You're what, I'd say almost three-quarters of the way through. What are you seeing? Like, man, is the big thing these kids really need help with?
Definitely to know who God is. Definitely to know who God is more. And I think they just need a lot of love too.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to give them every day. I tell them, hey, how's it going? And stuff. I try and include them and, just love them like Jesus would.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and you're in Spring Valley High School, which
Yes.
what I read is the most diverse high school in the city of Las Vegas. So you have everybody there. I mean, everybody from every walk of life is there. Have you noticed? Because I noticed. I mean, I drop you off at school, and I mean, every tribe, tongue, and nation is in that school walking in. What are you learning about kids? 'Cause you got some different cultures going on there too.
Yeah.
What are you kind of learning about kids and the different cultures they come from? Some of them, a lot of them are from other countries that are maybe a bunch of them aren't even born and raised here. A lot of them maybe they're just new here too. So what have you been seeing there and learning about the other cultures of the students that are there and how do you interact, how do you connect with them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, Um, there are definitely a lot of different kids in there. And I would have to say that it's actually all just the same thing because all I try to do is just be nice and like be friendly as much as possible. And basically, I'm learning that some like they definitely you can tell like they're definitely a little bit more crazy, some are a little bit more quiet, some are definitely, just more to themselves. But it's definitely a learning experience because I got actually someone prophesied over me recently, and then they said that I'm actually there to love all kinds of different people.
Hmm.
And I thought that was actually a really good word. And I think that's very true, because I mean, let's be real, right? It's very hard sometimes to love everyone, but, I feel like God has given me a lot of grace for that, and he's definitely been helping me to love everyone, and it's definitely a learning experience. I've learned a lot being there, just getting to know all the kinds of different kids, but I would say it's just the same thing, just love them and show that you care and that whatever they need, you're there for them
You're
for.
there for them. Yeah, that's awesome. And what do you think about leading? You're learning a lot leading,
Yes. Yes.
because you're leading kids and leading all these different types of personalities and stuff. What are you learning about leading? What is God shaping? How is God shaping you to become a leader that is a great one?
Yes. So, um, I've actually, so the first time when we had our club, what's really helped me a lot learning about leading is actually seeing you lead
Hmm.
everyone. I just watch how you deal with it and I see how you react to it and how you handle it. And so, whenever I'm like finding myself in a situation that's really hard to get past, I just think about what you would do and I usually just do that. And I'm like,
That's
okay,
pretty good.
that
That's pretty good.
that's
That's
pretty
smart.
good. Yeah.
That's smart.
So, I usually just do that. And then it's actually been really good. I have to say, like, some kids, like, you can tell they're still, like, kind of having a hard time, still trying to figure out who they are. And sometimes, maybe they don't realize it and they just kind of, they, like, give you sometimes, like, this weird they'll just kind of be weird,
Hmm.
sometimes, and then you're like, wait, I thought you were perfect the other day, and like, why are you acting so weird now,
Yeah.
and so What I've just done is I've just done um to just love everyone. Even when it's hard and when they're like, I don't want you to love me
Yeah.
sometimes. And I'm like, well, too bad because I'm here to do
Because too bad.
that.
That's what you're going to get. So,
Yeah, that's what you're gonna get. So it's definitely a learning experience, and I've learned a lot about leadership. It's definitely challenging at times, but I feel like, like God just blesses you in it. So I mean, yeah, that's what I've done.
yeah, that's what the Bible says. The Bible says if you're called to lead, lead well.
Yeah.
So as long as you do that and teach kids and what you're teaching, because I know what you're teaching there, and you're teaching the kids how to hear God, you're teaching the kids to surrender themselves to Him and teaching them how to find their purpose and do what they're supposed to do. And so it's really amazing watching you grow in leadership and watching you lead all these kids who are really, really great kids. I mean, I got to meet them all. They're just the best kids on the
Yeah.
planet, man. I mean, you
Mhm.
just love them the moment you meet them.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. And I know greater things are coming, greater
Yes.
events.
Yes.
Next year will be even more kids. You know, you'll be a sophomore then. You'll have a whole year under your belt. You'll be ready to go. So anyway, love you, honey. So proud of you.
Thank
You're
you.
the best. I'm glad you joined me today. And
Yeah.
we'll, I'm sure, talk again. And thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.